Red Bull Racing is being accused of using a new, possibly illegal system in their Formula One car that changes the ride height during races. Ride height is how far the car's bottom is from the ground. A lower car can go faster because it cuts through the air better, but sometimes a higher car is better for corners. Red Bull is being accused of creating a car that can switch between high and low during the race, giving them an advantage. Teams like Ferrari and Mercedes believe Red Bull's system breaks the rules because cars aren't allowed to change their ride height during a race. The FIA, which controls the rules in Formula One, is now investigating to see if Red Bull's car follows the rules. If Red Bull is found guilty, they could lose championship points or even be banned from races. One of the main reasons other teams are upset is that Red Bull is winning a lot this year. Red Bull has a special suspension system that might be changing the car's height on its own during the race. The suspension is a part of the car that connects the wheels to the body and helps the car handle bumps and turns. If Red Bull's system is changing the height in a way that's against the rules, it could give them a huge advantage over other teams. Red Bull has been in trouble before. In 2021, they broke the cost cap, which is a limit on how much money teams can spend in a season. They were punished for spending too much, but even with the penalty, Red Bull kept winning. This ride height controversy is just the latest in a series of issues that have surrounded the team. Christian Horner, the boss of Red Bull, denies that they are cheating. He says that Red Bull's engineers are just very clever and know how to make a fast car without breaking the rules. He argues that other teams are only complaining because they are losing to Red Bull. Max Verstappen, Red Bull's top driver, has also talked about problems with the car, but his issues have been different. On certain tracks, like Monaco, Verstappen has said the car feels unstable, especially over bumps. Some people think that the special suspension system might not work as well on bumpy tracks, which is why Verstappen had trouble in Monaco. This isn't the first time Red Bull has been at the center of a Formula One controversy. In the past, they used a special diffuser that helped them get more downforce. Downforce is the force that pushes the car down onto the track, making it stick to the ground better, especially in corners. Red Bull's diffuser design was so good that other teams complained, and eventually the FIA banned it. Despite the ban, Red Bull won multiple championships with this design. The FIA's decision is going to be very important for the rest of the season. If they rule against Red Bull, the team could lose points or even be kicked out of some races. This would give other teams a big opportunity to catch up. On the other hand, if Red Bull is cleared of any wrongdoing, it will show that their engineers are simply better at working within the rules than other teams. If Red Bull's suspension system is found to be illegal, it could change how teams design their cars in the future. Other teams might be more careful about introducing new technologies that could be seen as breaking the rules. One thing that's interesting about this controversy is that Red Bull has always been a team known for innovation. In the past, they've come up with ideas that other teams never thought of, like their unique DRS system, which allowed them to go faster on straight parts of the track. DRS stands for Drag Reduction System, and it helps cars go faster by reducing the amount of air resistance they face. Red Bull's DRS system was controversial at the time, but it was allowed by the rules. Red Bull will need to be careful about how they design their cars. The FIA is constantly updating the rules to prevent teams from finding loopholes, and Red Bull will need to make sure that their innovations don't cross the line into illegal territory. Other teams are watching closely, hoping that the FIA will take action against Red Bull and level the playing field. In the early 1990s, active suspension systems were introduced, which automatically adjusted the car's height and handling during the race. Williams, a different team, perfected this system and dominated the sport for several years. Eventually, the FIA banned active suspension systems because they were seen as too advanced and expensive. The current situation with Red Bull could lead to similar changes if the FIA decides their system gives them too much of an advantage. Another part of Red Bull's success this year is Max Verstappen. He is currently leading the championship and has been driving better than ever. Verstappen is known for his aggressive driving style and his ability to get the most out of any car he drives. But even with his skills, it's clear that Red Bull's car has given him a big advantage. If the ride height trick is as powerful as some believe, it's possible that Verstappen's performance has been boosted by the car's illegal system. Of course, Verstappen's success isn't just because of the car. He has been training hard and working closely with Red Bull's engineers to fine-tune his performance. Even if the FIA forces Red Bull to change their car, it's unlikely that Verstappen's skill will be affected. He is still one of the best drivers on the grid, and he will continue to be a threat in the championship race, with or without the ride height system. The ride height system also raises questions about the future of Formula One. If teams are allowed to push the limits of the rules in this way, will it lead to a situation where only the richest teams can compete? Red Bull has a huge budget, and they can afford to invest in cutting-edge technology. Smaller teams, like Haas or Williams, don't have the same resources and might struggle to keep up. This could create a bigger gap between the top teams and the rest of the field, which would make the sport less competitive. Looking back at the history of Formula One, there have always been controversies around new technologies. In the early 2000s, teams started using traction control, which helped drivers keep their cars from spinning out of control. Some people thought this made the sport less exciting because it took away some of the skill involved in driving. Eventually, traction control was banned, but not before it gave some teams a big advantage. The same thing could happen with Red Bull's ride height system. Formula One is also a sport of constant change. Every few years, the FIA introduces new rules to shake things up and make the sport more competitive. In 2026, Formula One is planning to introduce new engine regulations, which could completely change the way teams design their cars. Red Bull will need to make sure they are ready for these changes, especially if they are forced to alter their current car because of the ride height investigation. The controversy over Red Bull's ride height system also brings up questions about the role of technology in Formula One. Some people believe that the sport has become too focused on engineering and that the cars are doing too much of the work for the drivers. Others argue that innovation is what makes Formula One exciting. Red Bull's engineers are some of the best in the world, and their ability to create new technologies is a big part of why the team has been so successful. Finally, it's worth considering what impact this controversy will have on Red Bull's reputation. They are already known for being a team that pushes the limits, but if the FIA finds them guilty of breaking the rules, it could damage their image. Fans want to see fair competition, and if Red Bull is seen as a team that cheats, it could hurt their popularity. On the other hand, if they are cleared of any wrongdoing, it will only strengthen their position as one of the best teams in Formula One history. What do you think? Is Red Bull just smarter than everyone else, or are they crossing a line? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any updates on this story and more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.